Okay, alright, so let's move on to Xavius. So unfortunately, I don't have a Xavius video for you guys, but good guy Braindead actually tested it for us, or still has a video for us. So Xavius is the last encounter in Emerald Nightmare. He's similar to Cho'Gall, where there's different corruptions and different things happen the more corruption you have. The goal of the entire encounter is to minimize the amount of corruption you get over the encounter. One of the cool things that happens is this dream state. Where is it? This dream state. It's the madness, dread abominations. Oops, there we go. So during the dream state, you basically you go asleep, but you get an extra life almost. Anything that happens in your dream state, when you come out of the dream state, you go back to full mana, full life, full cooldowns. So if you get put into the dream state, blow through your mana, blow through your DPS cooldowns, because when you come out of it, after X amount of time, then you get all your cooldowns back. So dream state is really awesome to use in that sense, and like lucky if you get it. Lots of different things that affect tanks, healers, DPS, that kind of stuff. So in terms of corruption, when you have 33 points of corruption, a colossal nightmare will spawn, smashing the world around the player. That's not great. So you want to minimize how much corruption you get. When you have full corruption, you get mind controlled. You do more damage, but you get mind controlled and your friends have to kill you. That's not fun. The other one is when you get 66 corruption. You have fire damage and 5 corruption to nearby players. Again, not a fun time. Minimize it. So that's in general throughout the entire encounter. You want to manage your corruption, and Crushing Shadow is the other little one that spawns. So one of the big abilities for tanks is Darkening Soul. Darkening Soul is a debuff. It targets you. When it gets dispelled, you take damage and you take corruption. Also, the Dispeller takes corruption. When you are in the dream state, you don't really take corruption, or actually you do take corruption, but when you come out of the dream state, you have 0 corruption, so you're cleansed. I'll sort of give you guys an example of what's happening. So the boss is at blue marker. The tank gets Darkened Soul. Okay, so the tanks are going to swap. The tank runs over to Moon Marker, because when this gets removed, he explodes near everybody else for 15 yards for pretty much 1,000,000 damage. And then I take 25 corruption. So whichever healer it is. The healers that should be dispelling are the ones in the dream state, not the ones that are not in the dream state. And the Dark and Tainting, the player dispelling it, yeah, there you go. The Speller and the player dispelling takes corruption damage and some more damage there. Nightmare Blades is the other mechanic that happens in Phase 1 and Phase 3, and basically it targets 2 players, and it cuts right across the entire room, doing a lot of damage to you, and it knocks you back. What you want to do is position the Nightmare Blades in a good spot. So if, let's say, the range is standing at purple marker, and the moon marker is where you dispel, what you want to do is have 2 markers, let's say green and yellow here, for the Nightmare Blades. Since the Nightmare Blades go across the entire room, if the melee are over here and the ranged are over here by the purple, they will not get hit. So we're cutting the entire room in half. You'll see that in the first phase and the last phase of the encounter. So we have 2 positions, targets 2 people, it cuts right through. Again, don't hit that through the entire raid. The other things you're doing is you're dealing with the Corruption Horror, which, again, lots of AoE damage, lots of damage on nearby enemies. Anybody hit gains Corrupted Nova, so you want to tank it away from the room with this big corruption. The Tormented Swipe, again, you gain a lot of corruption. You want to minimize it when it spawns, so blow this thing up wherever possible. With the... what was the last ability here? I think that's the other one. You'll see. We'll go through the video, Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3. So let me pull up Braindead's thing here, since mine is over now. We just dealt with the scenarios, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, that's all we had. Okay. So, here we go. Let's pull up Braindead's video. Xavius testing. Alright. So, yes, the room is supposed to look like this. If you actually look up, it's a dream state or a nightmare state. It's actually like no textures. I know it sounds really dumb and it looks unfinished, but that's the way it is, and I agree. It looks dumb and unfinished. So this is the first phase of the encounter. You're DPSing. Hey, look, Braindead got actually put into the dream state. You can see his body is sleeping next to him. So when he comes out of the dream state in 3 minutes, then he'll go back into his body. So you don't actually die, you go back into your body if you die the first time around. So he's DPSing away as hard as he can, DPSing until the first ability start. We use Heroism at the start because it makes it a lot easier. We can actually potentially Heroism twice during this encounter, depending if they fix things or not. So we're DPSing away. Alright, so there's the first ability. See those red arrows? Those are the Nightmare Blades. Those Nightmare Blades, the way we've assigned them is they're going to cut through the entire room, splitting the melee and ranged in half. Watch what happens. So this guy runs over here, and you'll see the Nightmare Blades cut across the room. It's a really quick move, and it knocks you around. So be very careful. Unfortunately, he's in a melee position, and you can't really see much of the rest of the room. The tank there just got dispelled. Let's go back there a second. You see an explosion? Come on. There. An explosion, and the tank runs back. So you have to run away from the rest of the raid so he doesn't pop on us. So we're DPSing away. There's the arrows again. If the arrows are on you, cut through the rest of the room there, and then run back in. And that was, I think, Lurchy or, I don't know, somebody else that got hit there. There's the big Ed that spawns. That is the Corrupted Horror. Corrupted Horror is the priority. Make sure you blow it up, focus it down. That is a full DPS target switch because you don't want people getting a ton of corruption. I don't think you have a thing that tracks the rest of the raid's corruption here. There's the Nova. Everybody gets corruption. Not ideal. You could tank it away as well, but not the end of the world. There's Nightmare Blades again on the red arrows. So it's pretty hectic. Like, if you have the arrows on you, you have to run out right away. Otherwise, the entire raid gets hit and knocked around. And of course, Mr. Brandon likes to jump around a lot, which annoys the crap out of me. Jumping apparently is more damage. Okay, so we're in phase 1. We'll be transitioning to phase 2 very soon. I mean, that's pretty much it, right? So you're DPSing the boss or the big ads. If Nightmare Blades are on you, run them to the right spot, wherever your raid decided to put them in whatever position, and just manage your corruption. As a tank and healer, you are watching the Dispellable debuff. You're watching the Darkening Soul, because you don't want it to explode on the raid. Like, you don't want to dispel the tank right away, because they're in your other melee, which will take corruption. Again, you want to minimize the amount of corruption you have. So here we go, we're DPSing some more. Just keeps jumping forever. Okay, so tank is running out now. He gets dispelled. There, the little pulse is the dispel. And see, all those little Zs or Zs are the guys sleeping. All right, phase 2 now starts. Phase 2 is actually the fun one, I think. Phase 1 is really simple. Phase 2 is a lot better. Phase 2, the new big ability is Corruption Meteor. So it's a meteor split, damage as well as corruption split. Does 40 corruption on you. That's a lot. So you have to split it between everybody else in the raid except for tanks. Because tanks are already getting a ton of corruption already, you want to make sure they don't get a lot more corruption. So minimize how much they're getting, split it between the entire raid, and not the tank. So at this point, everybody could pretty much be stacked in. In phase 2, there's also no more Nightmare Blades, which is nice. So you can all be stacked in, not much movement to be done. He does Blackening Soul, which again is a dispellable thing, but this time it does not dispel on the entire raid. But the tanks have to just realize when they're swapping or doing their tank swaps here that they don't take the additional 150% extra damage, or it doesn't stack. So yeah, dispel it. And the speller gains 25 corruption, suffer shadow damage. So the people with the healers with the dream should be dispelling that one. Again, Corrupted Meteor does 8 million damage on normal. That's a lot more HP than I have. You want to split it between a lot of players, ideally your entire raid. The big thing on this encounter is the Call of Nightmares. These big, slow-moving ads. If you guys have seen Stranger Things, same kind of looking ads, they will spawn. They will start moving towards the boss. If they reach the boss, they will cast Dark Ruination, and it does 200,000 damage every second. It is a shit ton of damage. It's a ton. So you want to kill these right away. It means you guys have to split off the boss. Sorry, I mean, there's nothing else to attack. Kill the ads right away so they do not reach them. They are stunnable. I can't remember if they're rootable, but I think there might be even slowable. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong here. But you want to blow these ads up as quickly as possible, and then soak the puddles. So when you kill an ad, it actually spawns a puddle. You have to soak the puddle entirely. You gain corruption, so people in the dream phase should be soaking them, but you gain corruption, and if you soak them entirely, they will not respawn. If the puddle is left there, it will spawn a new ad. So your job is to kill ad, soak puddle, and get back on the boss. That's it. That's right, you fight the Demogorgons. So watch what happens here. So there's a meteor. On the far left side, there's an inconceivable horror. You see the nameplate spawning? There, they start walking towards the boss. And they start there. You can interrupt them, do whatever. There's a stun. I'm pretty sure I stunned that one. I don't know if it brain back there. And there's a big puddle that spawns. There's a puddle left over. You see that? Brain that actually ran over there to soak it. Somebody else soaked it. Those puddles are a priority. There's a meteor. It should be dropped over the rest of the raid here. There's a puddle on the far right side by the X there, if you guys saw it. There, now the puddle's gone, somebody soaked it. So the goal at this point is DPS boss. If ads spawn, stop them, slow them, whatever. Kill them, blow them the hell up. They even spawn really close to the boss here, as you can see. There's inconceivable horror. Well, there's a puddle being soaked. Thank you, Braindead. And of course the creature of madness from high corruption is spawning as well, so we want to focus that one down too. So we're killing. Meteor needs to be dropped in. That meteor wasn't dropped in a great spot because Braindead didn't get hit by it. So people should have been stacked a little bit closer for this one. There's inconceivable horrors again, getting blown up, our melee running to them, and you soak that puddle. You take corruption, takes a little bit of damage, but again, you don't want to be killing them, and that's me soaking one there too. So you want to make sure you don't have any of them respawning. There's a meteor on Braindead. Let's see what Braindead does. He does the right thing here. He makes sure that the melee get hit, the range get hit, but the tank does not get hit. That is the right move to do there. He's still jumping around. Yeah, I know. And now, as the last phase, we're finishing off the Creature of Madness here, so he's attacking the right target. The last phase will start shortly. And the last phase is pretty simple as well. You will not be dealing with certain mechanics. Oh, the other one I forgot to mention here is a tether. The tether is... Where is it here? The tether is... Where are you, tether? I'm missing this. Causing the switch for corruption. Call of Nightmares, no. Corruption Meteor, no. Lacking Soul. Anyway, there's a tether. We were missing it. But basically, you want to collapse it to make sure the tether breaks. Right? You don't want to stand really far away because you take constant damage. And you saw that little red line. Let's go back a couple seconds here in this video. There, you see that red line? They want to run to get towards each other to stop that tether from happening. And you gain more corruption. So there's another meteor. That meteor, again, was only dropped in the range spot. The melee didn't take it. There's another tether. It's on Braindead. Braindead runs to the target. Good job, Braindead. And you see that pulsing damage? We nearly wiped right there. Look what happens. People are doing their own thing. There's an ad that spawns almost right on the boss. He starts casting right away. That is shitty luck. But you know what? Where's the DPS that are attacking it? It's staying up there for so long. Look, the raid nearly wipes on their HP on the far left side there. Thankfully for the healing cooldowns, we were able to stay alive. But yeah, like that's how important it is to kill those ads. One ad nearly wiped the raid. And now we have two spawning in the back. That is your priority, especially as a range, because range are a little bit more mobile, being the turrets that they are, to kill those ads. So the way we have it split up is any front ads near the boss, melee take care of. Any rear ones, they're ranged to, because it makes no sense for Braindead or any of these other melee to run all the way back to go kill an ad and then all the way back to the boss. And now in this last phase is very similar to the first one and the third one, I guess, or the second one. In the last phase, there are Nightmare Blades still, but because we're stacked in, we're actually going to drop them off to the left side, so the left side of the room. There's these big tentacles that spawn. They're more of a soft and rage mechanic. Don't worry about DPSing them down so much. Just focus the boss. At this point, you could also Heroism down. And then you're dealing with, we're finishing up those puddles there. And where are we looking at? Stage 3, World of Darkness. So you're dealing again with the tank debuffs where you have to run out. Dealing with the Nightmare Blades, Nightmare Infusion again, Corrupted Meteors. Meteors are the only big one. And then Tentacles are spawning, right? Nightmare Tentacles, you can't really do anything about them. So you could kill some, but they keep respawning. More of a soft rage mechanic there. But the only new thing is their Meteor, which was copied over from Phase 2. So let's watch this one. There's tentacles. Nobody's really attacking them. We should all be stacked in at this point. Hopefully they stack in. Hopefully. We'll see. So Meteor, yeah, Braindead takes a step back there to soak that Meteor. Good. Everybody, I think at this point I'm yelling at everybody to run in because there's no reason to be out. Nightmare Blade, see the red arrows? They run to the left side now. Oh, that was a really bad one. That was a terrible one. DPSing away. They got to be stacked in soon because there's no real reason to be spread out. You want to maximize how much healing you can do, so we should be stacked in for this one. Alright, come on, other blades here very soon. Where's your boss timers? There's a Meteor. Again, Meteor should be covering the entire raid. There's Nightmare Blades. Nightmare Blade should go to the left side. There. And that is a better executed Nightmare Blade there. And at this point, you just DPS the boss. He has, what, 40 million left? 35 million. Braindead's still jumping around. Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. It's an okay encounter. Reminds me of Imperator Margok a little bit. Sort of like Heimball. Not the portal. It's a very underwhelming fight, I guess. It's not as long as Imperator. It's okay. I don't know. I thought Snares was a lot more fun than this one. This one is a very simple encounter. And the textures make it really, really boring. So there's that. In terms of weak auras, again, we do have our weak auras for Xavius. Let's pull up our Xavius weak auras. Again, weak auras are here. So we will click on Xavius. Paste bin. Copy everything over. We're going to import it into our weak auras. And again, the weak auras are all there, ready to go for you guys. Again, if you have Meteor in the dream phase, if you're fixated by little ads. So one thing I forgot to mention is during the earlier phase, there's little ads that spawn and pop up. They will fixate somebody. If they touch you and explode near you, you gain corruption. The goal is for people in the dream state to intercept these ads. Whoever they hit, they're going to explode on. And if you're in the dream state, well, you end up with no corruption anyway, so your job is to help soak these little ads, that spawn. Otherwise, yeah, Nightmare Blades, little ads that spawn, those kinds of things. So it's a fairly simple-ish encounter. Nightmare Blades, I think, will give people the most challenge. As long as people realize, hey, Nightmare Blades are on you, you have to get the hell out. That's the biggest one. Both those rogues will be assassination, will be outlaw. I'm pretty sure they're outlaw. Anyway, so what other questions you guys have regarding Xavius? Then I'll answer everybody else's questions about whatever questions you guys have. Let's see. Questions about Xavius. Do you know if your Shadow Priests entering Dream State can actually die using their Surrender to Madness? If not, I take it out where you can use it twice. I'm actually not sure. That's a good question. You might be able to use Surrender to Madness, and then when you die, you come out of the Dream State. I don't know if they tested that. That's a good question, Obliv. Can you blow CDs before you go in the dream state, and then when you go into the dream state, the CDs reset? I don't think so. I think whatever you have going into it is what you have, but once you're in the dream state, that's when you blow your cooldowns. So you can't hero, then hero during dream state, then hero during out of dream state. At what corruption do you die? Full corruption. So at full corruption, let's scroll up here. Send to the madness. Yeah, so at 100 corruption, you gain 150% damage and healing, but when it expires, you get mind controlled. So you don't want to get that much corruption. You want to minimize it, honestly. Like if you stay under 30, 40 corruption throughout the most of the encounter, that's ideal. Let me pull up one of our logs here and see how we did on corruption. Give me one sec. Just pulling up the Xavius log really quick. Xavius normal. Yeah, we can look at this one. This was Xavius. We had a pretty large raid here. What if it'd be under debuffs? Yeah, these are people that got hit by Dream, that had the Dream, lucky bastards, all these guys here. Yeah, I don't like how this scales. Corruption Descendant to Madness. These guys got Corruption Descendant to Madness right here. So it was Deadman, Avail, and Thalstadan. They all got mind control because they had too much corruption for whatever reason. But I want to take a look. I wonder if it's under resources. Probably not. Alternate power. Corruption, amount 0. Let me try to pull it up here. Yeah, -1, +1 wasted raw gain. I don't know if it's going to show it properly here. I'm a casual, normal, heroic raids at most. Probably wouldn't matter what spec I play. It doesn't matter. Honestly, you play whatever you enjoy. Exactly. Yeah, I can take a look at this a little bit later. Corruption Madness. These guys got this corruption. Who was this? That was Avail. Yeah, so that's when he got it. You got a lot of corruption at that point. Anyway, we'll cover the rest of that later. What else? What other questions you guys have here? Damn, those DDoS attacks. Yeah, I don't know. While you guys are talking about DDoS attacks, I'm totally fine here. Actually, we'll do some world quests in a bit. So what are the questions about Xavius? That's pretty much a rundown of all those encounters. The big thing is prep, right? Making sure you've done enough prep for those encounters. You're ready to go. You know, you've done the research. You sort of know the mechanics. Going prepped is a lot easier because you're not going to be wasting everybody's raid time, right? So, like we said at the start, you want to make sure you have your chants, your flasks, foods, potions. Those are the very basics of raiding, right? You have your boss mod set up. Maybe you got your weak cores as well. You know, our guild's fully set up with those as well. Like all the potions, flasks, everything's ready to go. Repairs, but yeah.